pardon the mic not being here, so the sound's gonna be terrible. But we bought the kids Disney tickets and they don't know that they got Disney tickets for Christmas. We're gonna surprise them and take them to Hollywood Studios to show it to them. And I can't keep my excitement, and the kids are right over here. So we will know, but they won't know, okay? Talk to you soon. It's official. We have completed another trip around the sun, and for this holiday season, I didn't feel super festive, but I didn't want to be the reason that my kids felt heavy or down at the holidays. I also didn't want to, put that weight on my partner. I'm trying to find the balance between being authentic, honoring traditions, finding the joy, and not descending into fakery, meaning examining the things that aren't necessarily working for us, aren't necessarily true, and seeing what we can replace those things with as we keep growing and evolving as a family. Given all of that, let's talk about this adventure for the Lewis family holidays 2021 that we're sharing with you at the top of 2022. My goal is to make sure that even the experience of them finding out their gift is special. So, as with any other adventure, this adventure requires a checklist. Let's look at the things that we need to accomplish in order to pull off this mission, this adventure. Number one, we need to get started on time. It just means we need to get out and about early enough. Number two, we need to throw them off the scent. We need to provide a backstory that throws them off the trail of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And that is going to be a little complicated. Number three, we need to get to our destination without a hit. And number four, we've got to make sure that there is still somewhat of a big reveal. Next, we need to explore, and we need to do it without pressure. Next, we want to have fun. Now, for some of you, you don't need to put that on your agenda to ensure that you have it. But every once in a while, I am tempted to descend into my type A personality and have to remind myself that I need to be present in the moment. Have fun is on my checklist. Don't judge me. Next, we need to get home at a decent hour. And last but not least, this video, as with my others, is going to contain a debrief. We're going to sit down and talk about and think about what we can gain from this experience, what we can glean from this adventure. What do we learn? All in all, this adventure is going to be a fun one, so let's get to it. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd love to geek out a little bit about Disney. Number one, this theme park is 25,000 acres of magic. It takes about 2 weeks to see it all if you want to see almost everything it has to offer, and there will always be more. Just know that. It's the most visited theme park worldwide, and on a regular year, they see about 20.4 million visitors. Of course, the panorama impacted it, and yes, I said it that way for a reason, but the magic is still there. I would prefer to avoid crowds right now. I'm that person who has kind of not isolated, but definitely limited exposure for myself and my family for the past 2 years. And I would prefer to avoid crowds wherever I can. And in light of the panorama that is part of the reason I feel that way, they still saw 7 million visitors in 2020. And that's with shutdowns and everything. Now, here is why Disney was still an option for us, is because after that period of self-isolation where you tend to kind of find spaces that are safe and allow you to still feel some sense of, I hate to use the word, but the only word that comes to mind is normalcy. Finding that sense of normalcy while still being safe was important to me. So in addition to kind of exploring our local parks, the beaches, we also started to examine Disney, and my partner and I, that is, to see if it was actually a viable option or if we were moving too soon. And here's what I noticed. As former pass holders, I know that you can always avoid the crowds at places that are usually crowded, but at an alternative time when they're not. Yeah, those options are there. And here's the thing I also was looking at. We really haven't gone out to eat very much at all in the past 2 years. As a matter of fact, the one time we did was disastrous in terms of the outcomes and what happened after, but that's a video I'll go into for another day. Now, having said that, what I noticed when I was doing my research was that Disney used lots of precaution. The employees had double masks, they had gloves on, they had face shields on at the height of things, and that was enough for me to feel like as long as I still evaluated every single venue before we decided if we were going to eat there, that we would probably be fine. And let me rephrase that we had done our due diligence for being safe and careful while still trying to balance leaving the house. So here's the deal. On top of all of that, this is the place that people save for a lifetime to go for a reason, with good reason, and they come from all over the world. They save for years and they get their 1 or 2 opportunities to do so, and it's worth it for them. And the annual pass meant that we could sort of take it at our leisure and do it as we see fit, take our time with it, and really enjoy every ounce of goodness at each of the parks over a year. So the energy was in the air and it seemed like a great idea. So Disney had been such a big part of our older kids' lives. We really wanted the little one to have that same experience or have her own experience with it. And then there was the opportunity for the big kids to still enjoy the magic and give us all an excuse to stop and unplug periodically for absolutely no reason except that we needed it. And to be able to do that and take a vacation within the week, or the equivalent of a staycation, so because we really don't have to drive that far to do it, that was a plus as well. Having said all of that, I had done my due diligence. It was time to move forward. Now, I've got to admit, at the risk of sounding corny, on some level, I just started feeling happy again at the thought of it. Once the hubby brought it to my attention, the passes were no longer going to be as easy to come by. It made me realize how much I had been wanting them anyway and had been putting it off. So finding out that the one pass that we could still get was a plus for me, as well as the fact that right now, while people are trying to limit exposure, they're not selling a lot of passes, so it kind of gives me an opportunity to kind of put my toe back in the water of being out and see how I feel. And I'm always trying to honor that, right? And I could do that for my family. Now that we have decided this is what we're gonna do, it's off to make it happen. Now it was on to face the challenges, and boy did we have some. From getting ready, because for me, for whatever reason, that's always an anxious production that requires mental checklists and me trying to get everything right to make sure that we're not somewhere stranded without what we need. Then there was the traffic, and oh my gosh, was it a challenge. It was an obstacle to overcome. And then there was just getting there in time within the right window without anybody figuring it out. I also had to coordinate our oldest son getting there to meet us. Even though he was closer to the theme park than we were, we couldn't really tell him what we were doing or why. So that was a challenge. And then there was keeping the kids' excitement up without them getting disappointed if they felt like they were wrong or giving it away. They figured it out, but they didn't fully figure it out. What I mean by that is the baby girl, the littlest one, my 9-year-old, she decided that we were probably going to get to go to Disney for Christmas because she had been wanting to go to Disney for quite some time. So I had to choose between letting her know and just letting the cat out of the bag, or breaking her heart and risking her being so upset that even finding out was just not going to be the same. She got tears in her eyes and I almost broke. And so I had to figure out a way to comfort her, get her out of that state, but still not tell her. When I say I was doing a song and dance and walking a tightrope, I'm telling you I was. But we made it. We survived. The tears dried, and she had a good ride, a good commute there with her sister in the back seat. They had fun, and so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But oh my gosh, I almost crumbled when she teared up. And those were the obstacles. But there are always obstacles and challenges. Some adventures have bigger obstacles than others, but we get through them, don't we? And here we are. What you're seeing on your screen now is the moment when the kids found out. Number one, that they had Disney passes, that we weren't just stopping by the park. The way we threw them off the scent is we told them we were going to walk around and hang out at Disney Springs and just see what there was to see. They were disappointed to a certain degree, but it wasn't the end of the world, and it gave us an excuse to be in the area, to take all of the transportation it took to get there without them necessarily knowing for sure. I'm sure on some level they were curious, but they didn't know for sure, and that's what we wanted. And so we made it. And now you're watching the big reveal. We were telling them at this moment, you have Disney passes. We are not just gonna walk around Disney Springs, you're actually gonna go into the park. And because we still had a couple of hours left, it was really, we could have stopped there. They were excited, they were happy, they were not ungrateful. The kids, have good hearts. So there was that. But then we told them the extra layer of good news, which was, you're gonna get to come back to Disney as many times as we can plan it over the next year, because you have annual passes. And that's really, really cool. I was not expecting my oldest to react the way that he did, but it meant just as much to him as the littles. And so that, and the middle daughter, who is somewhere in between those extremes. You see it. This is going off without a hitch. They know it's been revealed, and we survived it. Whew. I am so glad. So let's watch as we explore a little bit and see what we're going to be enjoying for the rest of the year. And this is just one park, one small portion of it, not even the Magic Kingdom. So if they were this happy here, imagine what's going to happen as we continue. And now let's head on over to that checklist again and see how we did. Number 1, did we get started on time? Well, we got out in time to get to where we needed to go and do what we needed to do. So I'm going to say yes. Did we throw the kids off the scent? I'm going to give myself a check minus for this one, because we kind of did, but then they figured it out, but then we rebooted it and all was well. Did we get to Disney before they closed? Yes, we did. Big check there. Did we have a big reveal? Well, kind of, but since they figured it out, I'm gonna be honest and give myself a check minus on that one, but everything that we wanted to accomplish, we did, so I'm happy with that. Did we explore with little to no pressure? Absolutely. We got to enjoy the park. We got to see the people. We also got to socially distance and keep our space, so I was happy. And we did a little shopping on top of that, which means we also had fun. That's not the only way we had fun, but boy, did we have fun. We had fun until 2 a.m., which means that no, we did not get home before it was too late. But since we get to set what's too late, I have no regrets about it. I'm happy about it. And we still had a great day. Now, have we done this debrief? I don't think we have, but let's get on over to it right now. For me, this adventure was about growth and gratitude. It took time to grow to the point where I could just appreciate what was happening right in front of me without worrying about any of the other things that weren't happening. And as a result, I think we took what could have been a dismal holiday experience and turned it into something that we could really be grateful for, even if we weren't just trying to express more gratitude, because it was a beautiful experience. I mean, after all, the world is different, life is different, and this is such a unique time. But we created our own tradition yet again, and I'm kind of loving it so far. I mean, there are so many opportunities and implications, so many special experiences to have, so many things that we will get discounts for because we're annual pass holders, and just so many things. I know I keep saying that, but I'm really excited about the fact that this really is a gift that just feels like there are going to be more opportunities to experience it on different levels. In other words, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm kind of loving it. And I'll be interested to see what this year holds. But I feel good. I feel grateful. So, mission accomplished. And I have a feeling lots of my future vlog episodes will have a magical backdrop. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to love yourself and your people, whoever they are, wherever you are. Continue to practice growth and gratitude. And until next time, it's your girl, Dr. Tarika Lewis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou and Fam. Thank you so much for rocking with us. We'll see you soon.